Friends, you must have heard about the Kerala model in the news. The Kerala model of literacy, the Kerala model of development, the Kerala model of handling Nipah virus outbreak, and the recently popular Kerala model of handling the coronavirus spread. Moreover, for years, Kerala has been topping almost all indices like sex ratio, primary education, lowest pregnant mother mortality rate, and foreign remittance. Many attribute Kerala's success to the foreign remittances from the Gulf countries. According to government estimates, 90% of those migrating from Kerala settle in West Asian countries. Migration from Kerala to the Gulf countries is a decade-old phenomenon that started in the 1960s, when the Persian Gulf needed cheap labor for its oil wells. Today, nearly 30 million people from Kerala are settled in the Gulf. They send 1 trillion remittances back home every year. Because of these mass waves of migration that started on boats and dhows, today there are multiple international airports in the state to facilitate immigration. Friends, in today's video, we are going to discuss Kerala's exodus. We will look at the reason that forced the people of Kerala to migrate to the Gulf. Finally, we will understand the impact of this exodus. The relationship between Kerala and Gulf countries goes back years, with the beginning of the spice trade. Arab traders started arriving in Kerala from the 4th century BC to trade in spices. Often, to improve their trade, the Malayalis would accompany the Arab traders to the Middle East. This trade relation and the resulting migration to the Gulf is a major reason for the economic development of Kerala. The story of the mass migration of Keralite workers begins from the resource curse of the Middle East. In March 1980, after many years of struggle and failure, geologist George Bernard Reynolds discovered oil in Persia, which is known as modern-day Iran. In 1909, a UK-based oil company, Burma Oil, started oil production in Persia by establishing subsidiary company, Anglo-Persian Oil Company. Under the terms of the DRK oil concession and royalty, Iran would only receive 16% of the net profit. Soon, political opposition and protest were launched against the royalty terms of the Anglo-Persian Oil Company, resulting in the rise of political discontent in Iran. In 1941, during World War II, Britain and the USSR attacked Iran and executed its leader, Reza Shah. After the Shah's execution, Reza Pahlavi became the next ruler of Iran. Reza Pahlavi was considered a supporter of Britain, and so Britain wanted to control Iran's oil industry through Reza. Because of World War II, nationalistic sentiments were rising in the Middle East, especially in Iran, because of which the Iranian parliament decided to nationalize its oil industry. Iranians elected Mohammad Mossadegh as the prime minister, leading to the Abadan crisis. The Abadan crisis occurred between 1951 and 1954, when Iran nationalized its assets in the BP-controlled Anglo-Iranian Oil Company, thereby expelling Western companies from the oil refineries in Abadan. Britain tried hard to oust Mossadegh from power, and along with American intelligence agencies, it planned a coup to remove Mossadegh and install Reza Pahlavi again as Iran's ruler. On 19 August 1953, the democratically elected government of Iran's Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh was ousted and Mohammad Reza Pahlavi was brought back to power. In 1954, under a pro-Western leader, oil production resumed in Iran. This time, the production was controlled by a new cartel called Seven Sisters. The Seven Sister Consortium for Iran was a cartel controlled by a group of 7 transnational oil companies. The Seven Sisters dominated 85% oil reserves in the global petroleum industry from the mid-1940s to the mid-1970s. The Arab-Israeli War of 1973 gave birth to the oil crisis. The huge revenue that was generated due to the resulting price hike set in motion a process of rapid industrialization in the Middle East. The industrialization brought about a social change in the countries of the Middle East. This change ushered in the need for more foreign workers. To fulfill demand, workers from India, especially Kerala, started migrating to the Gulf. The first exodus from Kerala to the Gulf started in 1960s, after Middle East became oil-rich. It was a time when Kerala and the rest of India were facing harsh economic conditions. Because of a high unemployment rate, many in Kerala decided to leave for the Gulf to financially support their families. In the 1970s, workers from Kerala working in the Gulf received higher wages compared to what they would receive in India for drilling sites, road construction, and working on camel farms. Most of them sent a major part of their salary back to their families. With their high earnings, these successful migrants become a role model for the youth back in their villages and districts. We can get an idea to the success of the migrants from the story of M.A. Yusuf Ali. After traveling empty-handed to the Persian Gulf in 1973 from Kerala, M.A. Yusuf Ali is today the richest Malayali and ranks 24th among the Forbes list of 100 richest Indians. The industrialization set in motion by the oil crisis of the 1970s led to a construction boom, which in turn created a massive demand for workers. Owing to this demand, workers from Kerala found jobs in construction sites. Some even settled with their families there. Nearly 10% of Kerala's population, let's say 30 million Malayalis, are settled in the Middle East. These 30 million people are the major contributors to Kerala's GDP. Malayalis working in Gulf countries like Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Qatar, Oman and Bahrain send nearly 1 lakh crore rupees annually to their family back in Kerala. In 1991, Kerala received a remittance of 3,025 crore rupees from the Gulf countries, whereas in 2018, the value was 85,000 crore rupees. Remittances from Gulf countries are mainly spent in daily household consumption, consumer durables, construction, repair of buildings, acquisition of lands, education, and religious ceremonies. Because of the large-scale migration and remittance flow, a commoditized economy and conspicuous consumption have become integral features of Kerala society. Kerala's social and cultural landscape is highly influenced by its migratory process and remittances. Kerala households today are known for their wide range of consumer goods and high consumption levels. Foreign goods have become a necessity in Kerala and have almost become status symbols. Kerala society as a whole has shifted towards consumerism due to the Gulf migration. Substantial amount of remittances have been challenged in the purchase of land and construction of luxury houses by immigrant families in Kerala. This has led to a rapid increase in Kerala's land value. While Kerala's economy has profited from this migration, it has also faced many market losses. For example, this huge migration has led to the emergence of an illegal market of fake documents. An NOC or no objection certificate is required for getting a work visa to Gulf countries. Today, a fake NOC market is robust in Kerala, which includes touts, travel agents, moneylenders, and passport providers. This exodus has created a shortage of workers in Kerala, which is affecting its infrastructure development. The shortage is being fulfilled by more than 25 lakh unskilled laborers from West Bengal, Bihar, UP, Odisha, Assam, and Jharkhand. Moreover, the impact of these social remittances is also being felt in religious spheres. Kerala's Syrian Christians are one of the world's oldest Christian sects. This exodus, with its Gulf connection, is responsible for the Americanization of the Syrian Christians in Kerala. Many workers were forced to take loans to get an NOC for a work visa to the Gulf. But the job search was not easy. Many had to come back because of the rising interest rates that they could not meet for the lack of work or NOC. Those who are not able to get loans for NOC resorted to illegal ways to reach the Gulf and would often land up in prison for not having a valid visa. While there were many whose passports would be confiscated by their agents or employers, moreover, the impact of this exodus was increasingly felt in the lives of those back home. After the 1980s, NOC became the most valuable document in the middle-class marriage market. Heavy dowries began to be asked from men who had an NOC. When the real Gulf boom started in the early 1980s, blue-collar and skilled workers like nurses, technicians, doctors, engineers, and teachers became a part of the exodus along with laborers and unskilled workers. Slowly, women professionals also joined in. However, today the question is, could the Malayalis have grown financially and socially if the mass migration had not started 50 years back? According to Professor Irudaya Rajan at the Center for Development Studies, Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala would have been a literate, militant and explosive state where low industrialization, high unemployment and political radicalization would have reached their zenith. Kerala would have turned into a political and communal tinderbox. So friends, this was an analysis between the Kerala and Gulf relation. What's your opinion on this whole issue? Please do comment below in the comment section. Apart from that, this video is quite relevant from the perspective of UPSC mains examination. Questions related to this topic could be expected in the UPSC GS2 International Relations and GS3 Economics section. So we will leave you with a question related to this topic. You could answer it in the comments below. And the question is how remittances from the Gulf have led the socio-economic development of Kerala. Discuss the policies through which India is strengthening its ties with Middle Eastern countries. And with this question, my friends, that's it for the video. I hope you have liked the video, and if you have, don't forget to share it with your friends. We will meet in next video. Till then, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.